Hello, and welcome to Pedz' Game Shack. I'm Pedz, and with me today is Cumberdanes.
Good evening.
And this is the very first episode. We're going to be talking about recently played, some news, and lastly, a specific game that was chosen for this episode. So, Cumberdanes, why don't you start us off with what you have played recently?
Yeah, of course. Recently I've been revisiting Mass Effect via Game Pass on the Series S. It's a game I played a heck of a lot back on 360. Probably played through it 5 or 6 times maybe in over the course of like a year or two. But then haven't played it in close to a decade. It's been really cool going back to it.
Yeah, are you, when you say you play through trilogy, what one are you on now? Are you on the first Mass Effect, or?
Yeah, I'm still on Mass Effect 1. I haven't played it anymore since the other day. Well, I'm up to I think the second of the 3 main story areas you get near the start.
Okay, that's cool. What made you want to revisit after so long?
I'm not sure. I know I mentioned playing Dragon Age again on a stream with you recently.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of put the idea in my head. Is like, I never finished the 3rd game in either series, and I think that's part of it. I want to go back and get them all done.
That's fair enough. How are you finding Mass Effect then? Because obviously playing the remastered version, how does it compare to your memories, at least, of the original Mass Effect?
It's like it's a massive nostalgia trip. It's like because it's a game that I'm quite familiar with, but like I mean, when you're playing the missions, you're like, oh yeah, I remember this bit, and then oh yeah, there's that guy. It's really cool in that respect.
Yeah.
Like when you do little side quests, like the bit with like the Hannah who's like a preacher, and he's not allowed to preach in the Presidium, and like you've got to try and decide who you want to side with, either the Hannah guy or the guard who's trying to arrest him. And it's all about like persuasion, and that's the thing I really like, and how you can avoid a lot of like unnecessary conflict through persuasion.
Yeah. Hannah are the ones that are like, hello, mildly amused. So
No,
those ones?
No, that's Elcor.
The
Hannah are
Elcor.
Hannah are the jellyfish-looking ones who they always call themselves.
Right, yeah.
They always call themselves this one.
Yeah.
Because they only talk in the first person, like among close friends and relatives. Whenever they talk to anyone they don't really know, they always refer to themselves in the 3rd person. And they're overly polite. I find it's in their nature to be like really, really polite all the time.
I got mixed up with the different ones. The Elcor I was thinking of, because they are also
guys with like no emotions, like genuine enthusiasm. It's like fucking EO.
Slightly depressed.
Yeah, because as well with the Elcor, you got like when you're in the lift, you got like sometimes you get little news bulletins, like based on what missions you've done. Or sometimes I think you actually pick missions up from news bulletins in the lift as well. But occasionally you get like adverts. And one of the adverts is like for a theatre company putting on like an Elcor version of Macbeth.
I can't remember that. That sounds awesome. That must be. I need to see a full play of that, because I think it'd be really funny to watch, at least for 5 minutes or so, and then you'd probably be like, "Oh, this is getting irritating now." Yeah. We were talking about this Mass Effect the other day, and you were saying like the combat has been improved to be more in line with the 2nd and 3rd game, because like it was quite janky. Like Mass Effect 1 I really enjoyed, like story wise and stuff, but gameplay was a little bit wonky. So
yeah, you're right. Like the kind of combat in the original version was a bit wonky. You can play it more like a proper cover shooter. They've made it easier to get in and out of cover.
Yeah.
I think they've mapped melee is like now a button press. I think in the original it was just it was an automatic thing. It was like
Ah,
I think it was like when you were close enough to an enemy, it would sometimes do a melee attack.
yeah.
Like they've improved that. It just feels a lot nicer to play. You can play it like I say more like say 2 or 3 where it's more of a proper cover shooter.
Oh, that's cool. But like you said, you can avoid a lot of conflict
You
with
can, but
dialogue choices.
I've been reading on like because I was saying that to the other day they've rebalanced the leveling system in it. In the original version, to hit the max level, it was meant to be done over 2 playthroughs. But again, to bring it in line with 2 and 3, you can now get to the highest level across 1 playthrough. But apparently, through talking your way out of a lot of stuff, of reducing the number of fights that you have, you miss out on a bunch of experience apparently.
Ah, right.
So I don't know if you can still get to the highest level doing that. So that'll be interesting to find out because I think I'm currently in the high teens. I think level 18, 19 maybe. And there's
And
still
what's
quite a
the
bit to
max
go.
level?
30.
Ah,
In the original it was 60.
right. Fair enough. They've
Because
cut the levels in half.
kinda there's 2 modes. There's like classic mode and remastered mode. In like in the classic mode you can still have the level cap be 60, but like you still need the same XP to get to level 60 as you would to get a level 30 in the remastered mode. Just you level up more often.
That's
In the
weird.
remastered mode, you level up less often, but it requires the same XP to get to like I say to get to the max, but you get more skill points every level. So say on classic mode, you might like you level up because you level up more often. You might get like 2 skill points per level
Yeah.
for Shepherd, and then 1 for everybody else. On the remastered mode, you get like I think it's 6 points per level for Shepherd and 4 for everyone else, and then I think it reduces down to 4 for Shepherd and 2 for everyone else partway through.
Yeah. No, that makes
So,
sense.
so it's kind of the same but different almost.
Yeah. No, it's strange. It seems. It seems a bit not pointless, but like an odd decision to make because you're still getting the same. You still need the same amount of experience to hit max level. Like, why have the 2 modes? I don't know.
Yeah, it is a bit odd. I think it's just because I think it again it just brings it in line with 2 and 3 where the max level was 30. But then
Yeah.
they've included you can still go to level 60 if like people who want to play it the way it was.
Yeah, that makes
But
sense.
again, you can still kind of hit the max level across 1 playthrough rather than 2. And in line with that, they've changed the achievement list because like the achievement list in the original was built around multiple playthroughs because there was like a series of achievements, say called the Quarian ally, the Krogan ally, the Turian ally for
Yeah.
playing the majority of the game with particular party members. So that would encourage you to like really stick with one party and play throughout the whole game. In the remaster version, it does have those same achievements, but you've only got to do 5 missions with each party member. So I think it encourages more experimentation, a bit more party rotation, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, so I'm guessing you've normally stuck with the same parties of everyone. In this one now, you're actually mixing it up a bit because you have to if you want the achievements. Like,
Yes, I've kind of settled on a party now. Though my main party now is Shepherd, Liara, and Tali. Just because Tali's really good for the hacking and stuff on terminals to get like more loot and stuff.
yeah,
I mean, I've got a few characters that can do that because Caden can do it as well. He's got really high hacking and electronics or whatever it's called, decryption. That's the one, really high decryption. But I like having Tali in the party. I think she's fun.
yeah. I played through Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 with Tali in the party. I believe. I think anyway. I definitely did with 2 and 3, but I think I did with 1.
Cause I really like the Quarians as a race and in general. I
Mm.
kind of like how they're like ostracized by society because of creating the Geth basically and like having them as slaves.
Yeah,
They are kind of arseholes. in one regard. I can
Yeah.
see why people don't like them, but like they just try so hard to be liked.
Yeah. Orions are a race in which things needed to change.
Yeah.
Which they seem to like be quite unhappy with their past, really, don't they?
Yeah, I mean they're not proud of it, which is what stands to reason, really. You know, they created a race of slaves who rebelled.
Mm,
But that leads in quite well into Mass Effect 2, though, with when you find out that like Geth don't actually worship Reapers.
yeah.
It's only like a weird splinter faction that do. The real Geth, which Legion is like a quote real Geth, just want to be left alone. They
Yeah.
just want to they just want to live in peace and like not bother anyone. That's why they stay in there's is it called the Perseus Veil?
Yeah.
Like, they just
I think
stay
so.
beyond the Perseus Veil and just want to be left alone. And like the ones that are the kind of enemies in Mass Effect 1 are like just a weird rebel faction that don't actually represent Geth as a whole. They're almost like sort of like fundamentalists or something. Like sort of like terrorists almost.
Yeah. 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 I completely get that. It's like I say a small amount of Geth, but you fight a lot of Geth.
Yeah, you do fight a heck of a lot of Geth.
So it's like a small fraction of them, but a massive amount in general. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. But no, I really enjoyed the Mass Effect games, and it'd be cool for you to keep us updated on it. When you're on next, you can tell us more about Mass Effect 2, hopefully.
I might even play Andromeda.
Well, I played Andromeda. I didn't finish Andromeda. From what I played of it, it was alright gameplay wise. It was just a bit. It just, I don't think it quite gelled as well as the previous three. I just didn't get into her as much. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's like new characters and all that sort of stuff. So it just didn't get into it as much. But to be honest, it wasn't like a bad game. It was janky, like. But I'm assuming a lot of that's been fixed. It wasn't as janky for me as it was for other people when I played it. So
I remember a lot of the memes, like the faces looking weird or something.
yeah,
I remember that being a thing for a while. There was like the girl with the weird smile.
Yeah.
So
it was.
That'll be fun. But I've heard like the gameplay and it's pretty good. Like it's like quite like very action based.
Yeah.
And I've heard it's a lot lighter in tone as well. A little bit more light-hearted.
I can't remember. Can't remember the tone of the game, but I just remember it being alright. Like, but
because the tone of Mass Effect is like is quite grim. A lot of the time, it's like the world's ending all the time.
Yeah, the galaxy is being fucking destroyed by the Reapers. Yeah. That's fair enough. But like I said,
after that, I'll probably be getting back to Dragon Age. I've got to buy all the DLC though, because that's the thing with Game Pass. It doesn't include DLC.
No, it doesn't.
Because I've got all the Dragon Age DLC on PS3. PS3 doesn't have Game Pass.
That sucks, man.
I think the only I've played through Dragon Age 1 on 360 originally anyway, but the only DLC I've got is the one that came with it, Stone Prisoner. Where
I have no idea.
You get a party member called Shale. I think technically she's a she. It's a golem.
All right.
Like, and it's quite funny in the story when you meet them, because it doesn't have like that has some sort of magic item that makes golems move, and someone's removed Shales. And the whole quest is you've got to find the key to get it moving again. But it's just like stood in like a statue, and it's alive and fully aware of its surroundings, and it's sick of getting shit on by pigeons.
That's cool. I never finished the first Dragon Age, but you know.
And Shale's really snarky, if memory serves. It's like I keep saying it because it's a golem, but I'm pretty sure it's meant to be female. Has a really snarky sense of humor.
Nice.
It's always sort of like cracking wise and like really sarcastic. It's a great character.
I'd have to play it to find out then. At some
Like
point.
it got a lot of DLC. A lot of the DLC for it's not actually available anymore.
No?
The main ones are like the kind of ones that are actually story based. But there was a like a Facebook game.
Oh, I have no idea.
Of Dragon Age, and that it tied into that, and you unlocked certain items in that game. Then they would unlock in the main game as well, but like none of those were available anymore. Even though I've like previously downloaded them, they're just not available to download.
Ah, that sucks.
The only bit of weird DLC like that is available still is there was a tie-in with Dead Space.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's a suit of armor in Dead Space. So if you link the two games together, I think you get a suit of armor for Dragon Age based on Dead Space. It's like got a dragon on it in blood.
Right.
And then you unlocked something in Dead Space as well, like an extra costume, if memory serves. They did something similar with Mass Effect 2 and Kingdoms of Amalur, where like you unlocked some Mass Effect 2 themed gear in Kingdoms of Amalur if you played them both.
Oh, that's mad. I didn't know that.
So not only did the saves from the game carry forward to the next one, they actually interacted with other games, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, that is cool. I didn't even know about it, to be honest, though. Isn't that Kingdoms of whatever it's called? Got re-released called the Re-Reckoning or something.
Yes, that's a very good game actually. Kingdoms of Amalur, very underrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, I think the original version kind of broke the company that made it. I think it might have been their first game, if memory serves.
Shit.
And nobody bought it, and it killed the company.
Oh, fucking hell. That sucks.
But it's really good. It's very big as well. Like it kind of doesn't feel like it at first, but then like you look at the map and you're like, Christ, that's a big map.
Yeah.
It had a really clever gameplay mechanic, if memory serves, where a little bit like Xenoblade. You know how Shulk gets these little visions in battle sometimes?
Yeah.
Of like what's going to come next.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit like that. Like your character, it was I think he was called a Fate Weaver or something, or he can see the fate of certain characters. So you would get little visions of like possible futures, and then you could use them to like help decide like what decisions you would make down the line.
Oh, that's cool.
A little bit like what's that TV show? Everybody Loves Raven. Where I think that was kind of like the gimmick in that. She would have little visions of the future, but she would always misinterpret them.
Oh, I know what you're on about. That's So Raven.
Yeah, that's So Raven, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, when you said everybody, I thought you were on about Everybody Loves Raymond.
No, Raven, yeah, sorry, yeah, that's So Raven, sorry, yes.
It's like,
yeah, she would have like little visions of the future, but she would always misinterpret them, and like hilarity ensues, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like when you interact with certain characters, your guy has like, I'm getting a vision, and you'll sort of see events that may or may not happen in future. It's fun.
Yeah, sounds it. I'll have to check it out. Maybe I think it might be on the. I don't know.
I think the original was published by EA, so that technically should be on Game Pass, but it's not because I'm guessing they don't own the rights to it anymore.
Yeah, I have no clue.
It's kind of one of the notable things that's missing from EA's section on Game Pass, along with a few other key titles. Because EA were really good that on the Xbox 360 and PS3 generation. They released a lot of good games.
Yeah, EA are weird, man. They like release these like really janky, wonky, but not even janky. What it is, release the same. Well, some of them are, but they release these games over and over again every year, or they release like certain franchises repeatedly, and then sometimes they'll have these really cool games, like 1 or 2 of them, and then they'll shut the company down because they didn't do good enough. It's annoying, but it's a shame.
That generation, they did a lot of really good stuff, like Alice Madness Returns, Shadows of the Damned, the Kingdoms of Amalur, the Saboteur, and then all the stuff that Visceral did. So like, what is it? Dante's Inferno and Dead Space.
Exactly. And
then they closed them down. It's like, really?
Dead Space is coming back though.
It is. It's like it's got like a remake, isn't it? And there's that other game that kind of looks the same. What's it called again? Is it something Protocol or?
Yeah, Callisto Protocol.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's Callisto Protocol. I think.
I was gonna say Alpha Protocol, but that's a game by Obsidian.
Yeah, that's like an RPG, you know.
Yeah, a very good RPG actually.
I played it. Maybe I will someday. There's just too many games. You know what I mean?
That is true. Yeah, I mentioned that on my stream yesterday actually, because it came up in conversation like that somehow. But it really felt like what decisions you made throughout the game actually did impact like the story later on.
That's cool.
I think the example I use in the very first mission, you've the end of the mission, you're fighting arms dealer, and then like you get a choice of what to do. You can kill him, or you can like bring him in or get him on your side. And so that if you actually convince him to join you, he provides you with equipment.
Yeah, that's cool.
Whereas if you kill him, you obviously miss out on that.
Yeah. Sounds interesting.
Unlike a lot of like games like that, let's say you can have like, a lot of RPGs have like the romance option these days.
Yeah.
And you kind of a lot of the time you're locked into really one person. Your guy that you play as in Alpha Protocol, he's just a top shagger basically. he just shags everything that moves.
You bastard.
Basically, if you meet a female character, there's a chance you can cop off with them in it.
Shit.
He's just a randy bugger, basically.
It's fair enough. Nothing wrong with that. Some people are randy. You know what I mean? We're going to move on to the next section now then, which is going to be news. I wanted to talk about is it Ron Gilbert? Yeah, Ron Gilbert. He is bringing back Monkey Island with Return to Monkey Island, I think it's called. And after the recent E3-like events where it was shown, he was getting a lot of I would say negative feedback, but it was more than that. He was getting like really nasty comments and things, and he said then that like he's gonna stop sharing information on social media and the internet because they're just making things like not fun kind of thing. And he's been receiving death threats. I saw someone saying, don't know if it's true, that he was getting dick pics sent to him and stuff like that. And I just can't understand.
Yeah, I was wondering what that was about, because I've not actually seen this, but I was on Twitter this morning. I seen Paul Gannon tweeting about it, and he said he was like sort of making it sound a bit like the backlash against Wind Waker.
I don't remember the backlash against Wind Waker myself, because when I saw Wind Waker, I remember it being a bit of an uproar about the visual design of it, because people didn't like the cartoonist. But like, you know, this guy is bringing back a franchise that hasn't been around for a good while. He's one of the original co-creators of Monkey Island.
Yeah.
And because it doesn't look to everyone's tastes, he's getting death threats, possibly dick pics and loads of other stuff, and he's just like, nah, I'm off the internet for this kind of thing. You'll just get updates when you get them, kind of thing. But I can completely understand that. Why would you want to put yourself in the position where you're getting this kind of abuse from people?
Yeah.
And it just shows how entitled people are. Instead of just saying, oh yeah, it doesn't look like my cup of tea, I'll leave her, I'll probably give her a miss. It's like, nah, dude, I don't like the look of your game. It's the worst thing ever. I'm going to kill you.
So what is it? Is it like the art style's been changed or something? 'Cause I've not actually seen much of this. All I really know is that tweet from Paul Cannon.
Yeah, well, I think the return to Monkey Island, we did, I think it was me and you, when we were talking about it on the Xbox Showcase. I think it was shown then.
Oh, yes, it was.
So I think the art style is different, so people don't like it. Well, some people don't, some people do. And like, one of the things he said was like, if you don't like it, that's fine. You know, you can just say you don't like it. You don't have to be abusive.
Yeah.
But it's made him and his team, I believe, want to not bother with like posting updates and information on the internet. So I think they're just like gone.
Wow.
And there's I'm a gamer, as they say, you know, but I don't understand this weird toxic mentality that people have, and like massive entitlement of, this isn't the way I want it, you need to change it like right now. And instead of being like, oh, we'll just play it. I remember like Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night. That had a bit of like, I didn't even realize, I was like, oh, this looks good. Like, I backed her and everything, and I thought it looked good. But they had a backlash about it not looking good, so they like completely updated the graphics, and that's why it looks the way it does now. But
I still think that's quite an ugly looking game in places. The character models aren't very good.
But the thing is I was fine with it. Like, in the original state, I was perfectly fine with it. But then you have people doing the same thing there. I think I can understand criticism, but when it goes into like major abuse of a person to death threats, it's just it's more than over the top. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, that's really, really not on. Like, just get over it. Like,
it's a fucking game.
Grow up. It's just a video game. Grow up.
Exactly.
If it's not for you, don't play it.
Exactly.
Don't like rain on everybody's parade. Like, let the people that want to play it, and just leave it. Just shut up.
Yeah, like
forget about it.
I can understand people saying, "Oh, look," like literally just go, "I don't like the look of the game," but I think what people are doing is shit on everyone else who wants it, as well as like the creators and everything, and it's ridiculous, Garen, man. And it seems to be like really constant now with it happening. It's happening all over the fucking shop.
Wow.
Like, so many game developers are getting shit like for
that sucks.
From awful people.
The reaction threads to like, I think we mentioned this when we've done live reaction stuff, where you see like the reaction threads to like these games shows, and it's like everyone's just really negative.
Yeah, it's just
change the record.
Yeah,
change
like
the record.
I've said myself, like, oh, you know, like say a Nintendo Direct. I'm like, yeah, there's nothing there that really was for me, but there was some good looking stuff there for other people, and most people are like, yeah, shit. And it's like, well, no, it wasn't shit. It just wasn't to your tastes.
Yeah, just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's shit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like, getting back to EA, I don't like a lot of EA's output. Like, I don't play FIFA, I don't play Madden, NFL and all that, NHL rather. Like, I don't play any of that sort of stuff. But I wouldn't say it's shit.
No, it's just not for you.
They're well-made games. It's not my bag. I wouldn't like shit on anyone else for liking it.
Except for Java.
Apart from maybe those people who only play FIFA, and they'll buy a brand new console just to play FIFA, which I know a couple of people like that, and it really, really winds me up for some reason. Like, why have you spent like £400 or £500 on a new console just to play FIFA on it?
Yeah, it seems like a bit excessive.
It just seems like a silly waste of money.
It does.
But I know people like that who like only play FIFA, and it's like, oh god.
I don't. Most people I know, if they play games, they play a variety of games. But
Christ, a former colleague of mine, like kicked his 360 out of like an upstairs window after losing on FIFA.
He literally kicked the console out the window, like.
Yeah, he like sort of just like picked it up, like just kind of dropped it and just volleyed it out the window.
Oh my god! Why would you do that?
yeah, he had like a really bad losing streak on FIFA and threw a wobbler.
Yeah,
Again,
that is messed up, man.
It's just a game, like.
I did get Garen and I like sometimes I'm playing the game and I'm like, ugh, but I'm not gonna break or my shit or kick it out of a window or anything because like
I've never broke a console.
I
did have a PS3 pad that had teeth marks in it.
where you bit it from rage.
Yeah, I lost my temper and I can't remember what game it was. It was so long ago. And
that's a shame.
Bit one of the kind of the prongs on the side. There was very distinct teeth marks in it.
Still,
Dark Souls, to be fair.
Yeah, it could have been Demon Souls, maybe. It was PS3 pad.
Maybe.
Bloody games. But yeah, my point is people need to get a fucking life and let people get on with things. If you don't like it and you want to comment. Just say like, yeah, I don't like the look of the game, not for me, or something along those lines. Criticize the game in a, a decent way. Don't be an asshole.
Yeah, I think we need more. The world in general, I think, could do with more constructive criticism. Like, don't be a dick.
Yeah, that's the basic way of putting it, isn't it?
Say what you think about it, but don't be a dick about it.
Exactly. Other people are going to enjoy things that you don't enjoy. Deal with it.
just don't ruin it for those that do.
Exactly.
Like or that do want to enjoy a product. Like, don't ruin it for them, and don't treat the creators with just a modicum of respect.
Yeah, exactly. No,
it's just general. Like, just don't be a nice person.
Exactly.
Like, you don't have to like everything, but at the same time, you don't have to be an arsehole about it and give the creators shit.
Exactly. Just, I can I get like people being up in arms about like certain things in companies, like treating their staff like shit or predatory things. That I can understand a massive uproar against. But just because you don't like the look of a game, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, that's just, it doesn't make sense to me at all, that sort of thing.
Like I said, it's just entitlement. No, it is.
Yeah, people just seem to think the companies owe them something. It's like they owe you nothing. At the end of the day, they're just trying to make money. They don't owe you a thing. I mean, the argument on that, if it was something that was kickstarted and you had put money in, then you could make the argument that yes, maybe they do owe you something because you have like helped fund that particular product.
Yeah.
So in that respect, you could say yes, well they do owe you something, but other than that, the company doesn't owe you a thing.
Yeah, but even with Kickstarter, usually there's like a preview of what the game or product will be, so you kind of have like an inkling of what you're getting anyway. So you're paying for the product that you're getting a rough idea of. Yeah. So but it does actually, you are actually warned on Kickstarter, like, this is at your own risk, because if a company doesn't follow through, end up screwing up, then you lost your money, like. So it is a bit of a risk, but like all the stuff I've put money behind on Kickstarter have all come to fruition. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've never actually used Kickstarter. I came close to backing Mighty Number 9.
Yes.
Which I'm kind of glad I didn't know, because it turned out to be shit. Didn't Jasmine back that?
I think he did, yes. The most recent thing I think I backed is Digitizer Level 2, I think it's called.
I don't even think I ever finished a single level of Mighty Number 9. It just felt also joyless.
Yeah, I agree.
It was like someone took Mega Man and just like removed all the fun.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I think of Mega Man X6.
I've not played it. I can't really comment. I need to start playing
Yeah.
Mega Man games again, actually, because I never finished 4 for some reason. I've got all the collections, I think, on PS4, and I was going through them. Like, I finally beat Mega Man 3 after being stuck on it for ages.
It's always worth revisiting. Maybe stream them if you want. Compete with me and Jeff.
I think I did stream Mega Man 1 once. There's a clip of me streaming it where I'm fighting Yellow Devil. Oh yeah, I cheated.
Oh yeah, the first time I beat it on stream, I used the pause glitch, man. I was like, ha, screw you, Yellow Devil.
Yeah, there's no way I'm fighting it legitimately. Bugger that.
Yeah, I did try a few times legitimately, and then I just gave up.
There's a boss in I know you missed it when I played Castle of Illusion. There's basically that's got the Yellow Devil in it. It's a bar of chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like the third or fourth boss.
Oh, that's cool.
And you fight. It's basically the same as the Yellow Devil. Like it just fires like chunks of chocolate across the screen and then like reassembles itself.
That's cool.
But it's quite easy to fight once you tweak what you're meant to do, because you can, like, before it starts shooting its chocolate at you, you can like go behind it and where you're safe. So it's kind of easier to fight.
Cheating.
Yeah, pretty much.
Why not? It's a Capcom game as well, isn't it, Mickey Mouse Castle Illusion?
No, it's Sega.
Oh, right, I thought it was Capcom. What am I thinking of, Van?
You're probably thinking of Magical Quest series.
Yeah, maybe.
That's Capcom. That was mostly on the SNES. I think one of them got a Mega Drive port, the second one.
Right. That's probably what I'm thinking of, Van, yeah.
Yeah, because the licensing on Disney games was weird back then. Because like different regions had like different licenses. Like there's on the NES there's a Snoopy sports game. It's actually meant to be Disney, but because Capcom had the Disney license in America, they had to like rebrand this Disney game as Snoopy for the Western market.
Oh, that's mad.
It happened quite a lot, you know. Like there's that
Garfield game on GBA and Game Boy.
Yeah,
Garfield, Ghostbusters.
That whole series, the Crazy Castle series.
Yeah.
They used to repackage them a lot. Like the one on the NES in America, it's Bugs Bunny, and I think in Japan it's Roger Rabbit. And then of course the NES got its own weird Roger Rabbit game by Rare.
Yeah.
Which is
I know.
Pretty poor game, to be honest.
Yeah. It's meant to be pretty bad.
Yeah, most of those like games, like those famous games that people shit on NES, that the really kind of bad ones, the all published by LJN, like most of them are made by Rare.
Do you think it was a case of Ray just not basically doing a cash grab, like they under their own name, like under their own name, they'd put out like quality titles, generally speaking, but under other people's names, it's like let's just get something out.
Yeah, it's just a payday. Like because Rare also made that a Nightmare on Elm Street game, which from what I gather isn't actually that bad a game. It's just doesn't really fit Nightmare on Elm Street.
I've heard that it's better in 4-player as well, because I think it's 4-player.
It is, yeah. It's a 4-player co-op, which is weird for the NES. Yeah, because they also made like Beetlejuice as well.
I don't know.
Which is like notoriously bad.
Yeah, well, it's just a bit of pay and payday.
Yeah, I think it was just payday to them.
Unfortunately, it's like in that respect, it's the consumers who suffer. Like, because they are paying like 50 quid or whatever it was for a game back then. I can't remember, because I never used to buy them. My parents did at that age.
Yeah.
For us, it was like, our parents would buy us like a game for 50 quid, and then we'd be stuck with this one game for months on end, right? Trying to enjoy it just because we wouldn't have any other games.
Yeah, I remember that. You'd be more inclined to stick with a bad game because it cost so much money.
Yeah, I remember Bart versus the Space Mutants. Oh, the time I put into that, and I don't think I ever finished the second level.
I used to really like Bart versus the Space Mutants. I had the Atari ST version.
The NES.
I played that to death. I was convinced it wasn't beatable though, because I could get to the final level because there's only 5 levels. I could get to the final level, but I could just never finish
it. Typical.
I was convinced it couldn't be beat, but I have since finished the Mega Drive version.
Well, I know what I'm going to be requesting for your stream next. I'm going to specifically request the NES version because that's what I had when I was a child.
Yeah, the NES version is really weird. There's that thing where you can use the payphone to call Mo, and he comes out of the Mo's tavern, and you can spray paint his apron. But in the NES version, it's just not Mo at all. it's just a generic NPC that looks nothing like Mo. At least in the 16-bit versions, it's quite clearly Mo.
Yeah, well, this NES high-resolution graphics, they're not as high-resolution as 16-bit ones. Speaking of the NES, we should move on to our next segment. Which is, I don't know, I don't give anything a title, I just say what comes to mind. But we'll move on to the next section where we'll talk about a game that we've both played recently that was picked specifically for this podcast. And that is a game called Infernax. You were the one who actually, when we were talking about what to play, you were the one who mentioned Infernax, because I hadn't heard of it. And it appears it came out in February of this year, I think.
Yeah,
so it's a relatively new game, but it's like a NES inspired Metroidvania, or as I like to call them, backtracking adventures, because there's a lot of backtracking and adventuring. But because it was your choice of game, I think you should tell me what you think of it to start with.
It's a very, very good game. Just putting it simply, I highly recommend anybody to play it. It's not an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. There's some very, very tricky platforming in it.
Well, say that. I played through the game as on my second playthrough. I thought it was very easy in comparison to my first playthrough. Because I had a gun.
Yeah, I've given that one a try.
It's just ridiculous. The bosses die within seconds.
I didn't get that far. I only just walked along the screen a little bit. But yeah, I can imagine that helped me. Particularly that boss where you need to fire projectiles back at it.
Yeah, you just stand there and shoot it.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot easier because I struggled with that fight. I just couldn't get the timing down. But yeah, I finally beat that this morning. This afternoon on my lunch break, and yeah, very, very good game. Very well made. I think it's quite clearly a labour of love. It's made by people that liked that era of gaming, passionate about it, and really wanted to put their sort of spin on it, but really up the ante of what can be done with a game like that, because it's a very good looking game as well. There's very nice background art. There's really good parallax scrolling, when you're walking along and you can see the skyline and the trees. They're all different layers. It's just a bloody good looking game.
Yeah, I completely agree. But I don't just agree. I'm not just going to agree with you on that. I'm going to also raise the fact that the music is also incredible.
Yes, very good music.
Um,
One other thing I know, so kind of in a music vein as well. The achievements are all named after heavy metal songs.
I didn't notice that. Did
Like
they?
I think they all are, yeah. Like "Hallowed Be Thy Name," which is a Iron Maiden song.
Yeah,
There's like "Rain in Blood," which is Slayer.
yeah.
There's a "Holy Diver" by Dio.
Holy
There's
Diver. Is it that one?
yeah. One of them is one of them is actually a song by Guar. I forget which song it is now.
I
And like
didn't even notice that, and I like some of these like
I was
songs,
just
you know.
yeah, I only noticed today. I was looking at that. I was like, these are all songs.
It
It
makes
dawned on
sense.
me. I was like,
It
yeah,
makes sense they've used heavy metal songs as achievements because the game is based on like demons and stuff and
yeah,
metal satanic and stuff. So, like, did you get the right? Spoiler alert: there is a system in place in the game where you can become good, evil, or like pure evil or pure good. And I personally had the pure good ending, where you get like instead of fighting the final boss, you fight a different final boss.
yeah.
And so you did that as well because that dungeon was
Yes.
a bitch, man, compared to the rest of them. Because there's so many other bosses to fight throughout.
You refight a lot of the older bosses. It's sort of very much like a Mega Man game. Where
Yeah,
you've got the boss rush at the end because you do refight most of the old bosses, and there's a couple of new ones. There's like a big sort of worm
yeah.
creature that like there's a big like sort of a laser blast. That was new. But I was reading up on it though. Apparently, like every ending you get contributes toward your completion percentage.
All right.
And when you get a completion percentage of over 94, you know the guy who does the exorcism,
Yeah,
that Gregor, I think he was called. After he does the exorcism, I think he mentions something about like speaking to him later. If you go
yeah.
back to him with 94% completion, you unlock like the real end boss, I believe.
All right. So there's another end boss again.
Yeah, you've got to, but you've got to, I think you've got to beat the game all 4 times and get all 4 endings. So the regular good, regular evil, ultimate good, ultimate evil.
Well, that
And
shouldn't be too difficult if you play through with a gun because it's quicker.
Plus, you can put the because I got a list of all those Game Genie codes because well, again, spoiler, it's got a built-in Game Genie called the Game Wizard.
Yeah.
And one of the Game Wizard codes in it is the invisibility code.
And it's fine to just use that. Like, nice.
Yeah, you could just put the invincibility mode on. I mean, I've beat it once. I don't need to prove myself anymore.
Exactly.
So if I go
Does it include like one of the things in the game that is difficult? It increases the difficulty of the game. Then there's a lot of instant death pits.
Yes, there's a lot of bottomless pits in it.
You can tend to see the pits. It's not like in Sonic games where it's like, oh, I'll fall down there and I'll be fine, and you'll fall down and die. It's usually like a pit of lava and you can see the lava and stuff, or a pit of green goopy stuff. Again, you drown. So
but I think it doesn't really gel with the exploration side of things. So many instant deaths don't really blend well with the exploration and like the Metroidvania side of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it becomes more and more frequent as it goes on. I think that is one sort of flaw I would raise with it, is that bottomless pits or fire pits or whatever become more and more common as the game goes on.
Yeah, definitely throughout the dungeons.
Really, really tricky platforming.
But I can't remember what my point was now. My point was, does the invincibility code stop you from dying in there? Do you just walk along
I
it?
I don't know, but one of the codes is a jetpack.
Ah, so you just fly around.
Yeah, so you can fly over pits. One of the codes gives you a chainsaw.
Yeah?
Yeah, one of them gives you a motorbike.
Oh, Play like Alex, kid. Do 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 do. No, but
the Morbag's weird. It's hard to use because I think it just gives you like sudden bursts of speed.
That's cool. I'll have to have a look at the chords. The only chord I've used is the extreme gore chord.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Fuck me. I killed like one enemy. There was more blood coming out of that enemy than there was out of one of the bosses, which spray out loads of blood. It was awesome.
It's ridiculous. It is, for like an 8-bit styled game, it is surprisingly very gory.
Yeah. I would say that it's like the goriest game I've played this year so far.
It's up there like, in terms of like gore with something like Robocop versus Terminator.
Yeah, I love how they turn to like puddles of blood, like explode. I love it.
What's that boss in Infernax? I think it's like the second main boss, where he's cut in two and all all of his intestines are hanging out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's like a gold kind of knight or something who's like all his guts are hanging out.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the one. It's kind of like floating. It kind of reminds me of Mother Brain.
Yeah.
Not in terms of luck, but in terms of the way the fight is until it starts flying around.
But weirdly, that's something else I kept saying while playing it, is that the bosses are all pretty easy.
Yeah, it's surprising how easy the bosses are in comparison to the rest of the game.
Like, getting to the bosses can be a pain in the arse, but then when you actually reach it, you're like, oh. Because I think the only boss I really had any bother with, I died to the first boss a couple of times until I kind of got it. There was I struggled with that boss, the optional boss that you find in some lady's basement, where you've got to knock projectiles back at it, because I couldn't get the timing right. But eventually I was like, it clicked with me and I did it. There was a couple of bosses where I didn't get how to hit them straight away. Like I would go in and start trying to wail on them, and I was like, oh shit, it's not doing any damage. Then I'd be like, right, you've got to wait for them to open the eye or something, and they'd have like a very specific weak point. And then once I twigged where the weak point was, I would kill them on the next try. The last boss, it took me a couple of attempts because it had some pretty nasty attacks. Like one in particular, like I know anyone who's played like these Castlevania games or those kind of retro games, there's always knockback on the enemy attacks. Well, the final boss in Infernax, one of its attacks causes knock forward. So like if you're standing on the edge of the platform, it actually knocks you forward, so you fall off. But other than that, most of the bosses, it was like, oh, that was it.
Yeah, it's surprising. Then again, I like thinking about Mega Man. For me, like the levels were always more difficult than the Robot Masters. Like especially as soon as you get like the right weapon for the right Robot Master, you'll be fine. And while it obviously isn't like that in the sense of you get like a power that will help you beat a boss, basically just smash living fuck out of them in the weak spot till they die. It reminds me of that in that the level is very difficult. The bosses are generally quite easy.
Yeah, that's a fair point, actually.
Yeah. But that's just my opinion. When I played through the Mega Man X games, I think I was like, nah, the bosses are harder than the levels for the first like 2 or 3.
Because haven't they, like with the Mega Man series, I don't know if I'm right in this, but I'm sure they sort of toned down the boss weakness element a little bit as the series went on.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think in some of the games the weaknesses don't do as much damage as the older games, but they still do more damage than the pellets.
Is it Mega Man 3 where they introduced the charge shot?
Yeah.
Because I know I've read a lot of people think that like when they introduce the charge shot, that again kind of diminishes the whole element of using specific weapons, because you can just use the charge shot most of the time.
Yeah, I get that, but the charge shot is still a lot slower than using.
I always use it whenever I play them.
Exactly. Yeah.
But whatever the weakness is.
I'm not sure if it's 4 because no, it's 2. Because in 1 there's like nothing, in 2 there's the charge shot, in 3 they added the slide. I don't know.
I'm sure the charge shot's added in 3.
3, is it?
Yeah, because
2,
2 was the one where you could just get away with using the metal blade.
yeah. Just destroy everything with it, more or less.
Even like the guy who gives you it, like when you have the rematch with Metal Man, that the metal blade like kills him in a couple of hits.
Yeah, it's way OP.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. But speaking of Infernax, as we were, is it me or did the final boss have giant tits?
Yeah, well, it's Baphomet. That's what Baphomet looks like.
Ah, right. I thought that was meant.
It's a Templar thing. I think it's just like a made up god. It's because like I think people just made up that Templars worship this god Baphomet to like sort of discredit them because the Knights Templar were like kind of originally like Christian related. They were like a kind of secret order within the church, but like they got a bit too powerful, also, I believe, and so to discredit them, make them seem like a bunch of like dodgy characters. People started spreading propaganda that they worship this god called Baphomet, who was just made up, basically.
Ah,
And
right.
it's like a sort of a goat with big tits, pretty much.
Right.
Goat-headed demon with big tits.
Yeah, I was like, are they tits or are they? I wasn't sure if it was like because the game is really well like visually really well done, like the sprites and all that. So I was unsure if the sprite work was a bit wonky and it was just like really weird shaped chest, or if they were actual tits.
No, they are definitely breasts. If you look up if you Google like what Baphomet looks like, it is like it's like a cross-legged goat demon with wings and large breasts.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I really enjoyed the game though, and I played through it twice. I played through once normally and once as using the Konami code to become Maxim Gun or whatever his name is.
That's actually really cool because when you do that, because like it even jumps like Contra.
Yeah, with
like
the somersault.
The somersault jump from Contra. What's interesting, like, similarly to like say like Zelda, where you get a slightly different game if you put your name in as Zelda when you beat it. They do something like that, don't they? Where like you unlock a book when you finish the game.
Yeah,
It's got like some like little bit of information about stuff like artwork and that sort of thing, if memory serves.
yeah,
But then it also says, oh, why not try entering this as your name? And you can like play as slightly different characters. It's a bit like what you can do in Symphony of the Night. Like once you finish Symphony of the Night, it'll say, why not enter your name as this? I think you enter your name as
Richter.
Richter, yeah, and you play Richter mode, and then when you beat Richter mode, I think you can then play Maria mode as well.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
where you play as Maria. So it's a bit like that. I gave that new character a try, and I wasn't keen on it. I didn't like how you've got to like wait for the magic to charge.
Yeah, I think that'll be more interesting the further you play with like having more mana and
you must
stuff.
You must get like different attack spells because you start off with like a sort of a fireball attack with like it's like a wizard that you unlock up.
Yeah.
And yeah, you start off with a fireball, but then yeah, you can't just use it all the time. You've got to wait for your meter to fill. So yeah, I assume you must get different spells, the different attack spells to use.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's the case, but I've only done like the first boss with that character. I know there are more characters, but I don't know anything about them. Yeah, there's quite a lot.
Wow, because I am thinking at some point of, like I say, with having those cheat codes in it, just doing some multiple playthroughs, trying to get the other endings. Particularly, I want to see how the game pans out differently if you're a dick, because you can do some mad stuff in it. There's like you meet these evil characters who are like, oh, go to the church and like destroy the holy book that they keep there. And stuff like that, or there'll be a guy who will try and get you to break a dam to flood some villages.
Yeah,
It sounds like you can be a bit of a bastard.
How about you burn this village? I'll Okay.
Yeah, there's one guy wants you to burn all the villages, which I did by accident. I did accidentally burn one of the villages. Like well, spoiler alert, you cast the lightning spell while standing in a village, and it all just catches fire. But I did it because one of the villages is full of monsters, and I just cast the lightning spell to kill the monsters quickly. And then I was like, oh fuck.
That's a restart, like.
Yeah, thankfully I'd saved recently, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll
Yeah.
save that. That
Well-
wasn't meant to happen.
I've had 2 glitches on the game, right? Speaking of, yeah. One was when I was in a dungeon. Fortunately, it didn't really affect much. I tried jumping up off like the spikes that fall down and you could jump on them, kind of like in Castlevania, but without being able to jump on them. I think.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so I jumped on that, and then I tried jumping up onto a platform above it, and for some reason I warped through the wall and fell back down onto the floor.
Oh wow, I haven't seen anything like that.
So luckily, that was the only time I've seen it happen. The other one is when you have to do this certain mission, you speak to someone, say you're ready, and then a door gets busted in, and then you enter the area and kill the people inside. Well, I accidentally spoke to the guy again as I was trying to enter the door.
Okay.
And what happened there is he said, are you ready? And I was like, oh yeah, I'll say yes again. And then I walked to where you stand, automatically walked to where you stand before they smashed the door in. My character was just stuck there. I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything.
Oh, wow.
So I had to restart, reload my save, which meant I had to kill a couple of people again, which was fine because I turned the gore on and it was funny.
Yeah, that's really weird. I did it. There's a cool little Easter egg in it. There's an achievement for it. You know, in Castlevania 2, where there's a bit where you've got to kneel next to a wall until a tornado comes and takes you away. You can do that.
All right. Well, what is that? I'll have to do that.
It's near the graveyard area. There's if you go where the graveyard is, you kind of go back to the main road above it, and then walk as far left as you can. There's a set of steps and then a big wall in front of you, and you can't really go any further. If you crouch next to that for about 10 seconds, the tornado comes along.
That's cool. Yeah, we're going to have to wrap up soon, as I wanted to try and keep this to roughly an hour instead of the other podcast that we sometimes do, which is 3 hours long. But yeah, I must admit I really enjoyed it. I'm glad you actually mentioned it because it's definitely one of the games this year I've enjoyed the most.
I'm actually, I think for me, I'm actually going to say it's my game of the year so far,
which is really cool.
I've not played a lot of new releases this year. I think in terms of new releases, I've only played Elden Ring, the Turtles, Shredder's Revenge, and that. And I think actually of the 3, I think Infernax is the one that I've enjoyed the most so far.
That's fair enough.
It's just a great game.
I've played a lot.
I'm glad I heard of it.
Yeah, I haven't played a lot of new games this year, but generally speaking, even the games that are from before this year, I've enjoyed it more than a lot of them. But yeah.
Actually, no. I've also played Iyuden Chronicles. That was also a new release this year. But yeah, that was really good, but also really tedious in places.
Yeah, I remember you saying a lot of side stuff you have to repeatedly do.
Everyone's got stupid little side quests for you to do, and it just got boring. That's the thing with the first as well. That's got a lot of side quests, but they're all quite fun to do.
Yeah.
It'll lead you to they all lead you to extra bosses and stuff. And it's all stuff you could quite easily ignore because you could just go for I'll beat the 5 main dungeons and move on. But I think playing it that way, you're missing out on so much.
Yeah, and it's not it's definitely not tedious in this.
No, it's really not. But then there's always a reward, so you'll get the best gear is kind of hidden behind side areas. There's abilities the downward slash attack that's hidden in a hidden area. You get you can get some of your spells have upgrades. You get a shield spell quite early on. One of the side quests gets you an upgrade for that, where as well as giving you a shield, it heals you a tiny little bit. So there is also a heal spell which costs one amount of mana. But then if you only want like a little heal, you can get away with using the shield spell, which has a little bit of a heal as well.
And not just that, then if you need to use it and you're low on mana, that'll cover a little bit of health for you. It means you have less health taken off you when you hit next. So
yeah. It is definitely worth seeking out the side quests. The rewards are always worthwhile.
Yeah. One thing you said on your stream when I was watching you play is you said, this is like a good Zelda 2.
The way I describe that game, it's if Zelda 2 and Castlevania 2 had a baby and it grew up to be a good game.
There you go.
That's Infernax. It takes what's good about those two games and it cuts out all the crap.
Exactly. I completely agree with you, man. But I think we're going to end it here as we've been going for an hour and 5 minutes.
Sweet.
And we will be back in a fortnight. I think I'll be having a different guest on called Ubellion if things goes to plan. But Cumberdanes, I would definitely like for you to come back on and keep us updated on your Mass Effect playthrough.
Yeah, definitely. I'd be honoured.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
In a bit.